you might be called upon to create a violence threat risk assessment form for a student. If that is the case, you would start your Clever. Make sure if you have more than one location in your profile that you are choosing the location of the student, and then scrolling down to the bottom of your forms to find the Violence Threat Risk Assessment Form, or Vtra. If there is already the student's name in here, it means they already have had a Vtra put forward for them in the past. If their name does not appear in this list, you would have to add them, and there are other videos to show you how to add a student to a form. Or just look and see, maybe they're inactive or pre-registered. Inactive are students who have left your school, but you still might need to create a Vtra for them for whatever reason. Maybe they've moved to a different location or another school division. Or the pre-registered students are ones that haven't come to your school. But if they're not, generally if they're active in your school and they're not in this list, it means they didn't have a Vtra created for them yet. So you would have to add them. Let's say this is a student that I would like to create a Vtra for. I open it up and it looks like it's been partially checked off already. It might be an old form, but if it's 0% complete, it probably is just an old form. But if you come across a form that you think has been handed in, or it's all complete or anything like that, you can always start a brand new record for a student just by going up to the top and choosing New Record. The old one is then archived and put into the student's history. This one is all blank, and you can start from scratch. So if you have any questions at all about completing a Vtra, please contact Carrie Anning or Roseanne Kerr, and they will be able to answer as many questions as you have. The first step is the pre-referral checklist. There is a threat assessment quick guide here if you need to refer back to that, but you would check off anything that you're seeing showing up in the student's behavior in the past or things like that. You can also initiate the Vtra. These are required fields, and as soon as you check off this box, your name and the date that this was initiated will show up. It helps us to keep track of Vtras that might have been started and not finished. So you check that box off, and you can see it's already climbed up to 33% complete. General information about the student and the school. These two light blue fields here, they will pull data from our student information system automatically when this is created. If it doesn't pull automatically, you can force it to by going to Integration, Import Data, and the school and the grade will fill in, and it should match what's at the top here because this pulls automatically every time you open the form. The date of incident is a required field, so if this happened 2 days ago, you would need to fill it in, and it's half. All the required fields are half filled in now. You need to pick a school year and the student's age you can type in, and any parents or guardians, their names, and you can add in more parent or guardian names. And if you don't need 3, you can take out a row. Type in the principal's name, vice principal, counselor, school resource officer, anyone else that would be a member of this group. Again, you can add more members by pushing the add button. The superintendent, who will have to be notified later on. And then there are checkpoints about any violence, threat-making behaviors, comments, things like that. Steps 1 through 5 are again school administrators. This is your job. Check, check, check. School administrators, if appropriate, check the desk, check the locker, not applicable. Step 3, Step 4, Step 5. It helps you to go through a Vtra. Step 6 involves quite a lot of typing. There are a series of questions about the incident, and if it's not applicable, you would just check off the not applicable box, but otherwise you are describing the incident. How did this come to your attention? Were things stated that they had the means to carry out the threat? All that types, be as specific as you can on each one of these. So it's a lot of work, a lot of typing, and again, if it's not applicable, you would choose not applicable. Steps 7 and 8 are notifying the threat makers and the target's parents or guardians as soon as you can. And an explanation, maybe you could only have notified one or the other. Step 8, any other agencies that need to be pulled in, the school resource officer, crisis intervention, people like that. Step 9 are the levels of concern. Is it a low level or high level, medium level? Step 10, the course of action. What needs to happen immediately? Type in what you're thinking. Parents and caregivers, roles, things like that. Step 11 is the intervention plan. Again, you can add another level of risk enhancers, risk reducers, and the agencies that might be involved. So you might want the Child Protective Services might be called in, or the school resource officer. Fill in as much information as you can in here about supervision times and what the schools will do, things like that. Finally, you have a follow-up. One by one, you can check these off. You print the signing page, and it tells you to go to print and then violence threat risk assessment right here. This is the signing page. Have everyone sign this. This is the full, everything you've typed in. And at the very end, you need to collect all of these signatures. And you upload that in the files and links, just so that we have the signatures attached to all of this information. I'll show you the files and links in a moment. Once it's uploaded, though, you check it off. You also do a copy of that to the school resource officer for their files. There is another Vtra notification that when you open that one up, it's a one-page. It says copied on yellow paper, and it tells you the school's information. There was an incident, and the threat assessment was completed on whatever day, and it has your principal's signature right there. So as soon as that is put into the CUME file, then you email the school superintendent. You would choose that person. It's a required field, so these folks need to know. So you would choose whoever it is, send the notification, and this date fills in. You also need to notify Student Services Vtra leads. So just send the notification and this date fills in. The emails will automatically go to the right people. Finally, the last little bit on this follow-up tab is actually the follow-up. So the school administrator needs to diarize to review the dates. So 6 weeks from today, so we would count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on or about January 15th, and 6 months. So December would go into June 11th. And you can see that fills the completion bar in. Put these dates into your calendar so that you don't forget. And finally, when you come back on January 15th or June 11th, you would check off that yes, we did the 6-week review, and it automatically puts your name and the date in. So it can tell. It doesn't have to be right on this date, but on or about. Same thing with the 6-month review. You check this box and it will fill in for you. Any area threat assessment and support protocol partners that you have contacted or need to be contacted about this the student, or any other agencies, you can add in as many agencies at the bottom if they don't show up in this list. And finally, here are the files and links. So if you have that printed signed copy, you would choose the file, navigate to that saved signed copy in your files, and type in the signed copy, like make a name for it and go upload file, and it shows up right here. That is it for the Violence Threat Risk Assessment, or Vtra Forum. If you have any questions at all, again, Carrie Anning, Roseanne Kerr will answer your questions. Or if it's more of a general question about Clever itself, you can always call 8888 or start a help desk ticket, and we will help you as soon as we can.